Hello again, XDA TV. I'm coming at you not from home, as you might be able to tell. I am in London for DroidCon London 2015, so I am staying in an Airbnb at some random person's home. But that does not stop the news, so let's get started. First up, an event I can say that I was lucky enough to be at. OnePlus had an event today here in London where they unveiled the OnePlus X. The OnePlus X is going to be a 5-inch device with a 1080p AMOLED display, a Snapdragon 801 processor, 3 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of built-in storage with a micro SD card slot, 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, 8 megapixel front-facing camera, although it does not do 4K rear-facing video, but it does do 1080p front-facing video, just as an update there, and a little more than a 2500 milliamp hour battery. It's going to cost about $250 US with a non-removable back, and there's a very, very exclusive limited edition ceramic variant that's going to cost a little over $400 US, and there's only going to be 10,000 of them made because it takes them about a month to make that ceramic back. And we put them up side by side. I'm going to be putting up a video on this either here or over on my channel. We put them up side by side, the black onyx back versus the ceramic back. Really, really hard to tell a difference. But either way, to go along with that, of course, there is a new forum that has been created on the XDA site. The LG V10, we've talked about that a little bit before. It is now available on AT&T if you're looking to pick one of those up for yourself. They have it for $249 on a 2-year contract, and if you're off contract, I didn't even have the chance to look it up, but I'm sure it's in the neighborhood of $599, $799, something like that. Motorola also announced some new updates to their devices, the Droid Maxx 2 and the Droid Turbo 2, and they both sound like excellent upgrades to their predecessor, except they both come with Lollipop, about a month after Marshmallow actually dropped. One way or the other, if they are going to receive those updates, I would definitely love to get my hands on either one of them and try them out. My wife still has and loves the Droid Turbo. Battery life on it is amazing. But one way or another, I guess we will see what Motorola and Verizon choose to do in terms of software updates. Samsung announced a new tablet, the Galaxy View, which comes with an 18.4-inch Full HD 1080p display. I'll say that again, 18.4-inch 1080p. So effectively, you've got a small LCD TV. In terms of the specs, it's very much middle of the road. And I seem to remember reading somewhere, I'm not seeing it here listed on the article, something about $599 for the price tag, which for a tablet that size, I don't know. But one way or another, if that's something you're interested in, we do have forums for that available as well on XDA. A new Cyanogen OS powered device from Wiley Fox called the Storm was unveiled by, again, Wiley Fox. It has a Snapdragon 615, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of built-in storage, a 20 megapixel rear-facing camera, Cyanogen OS version 12.1, and it's going to be available for just £199. Sounds like a sort of an interesting middle-of-the-road device. Elephone went ahead and launched their new device, the Vowney. Comes with a Helio X10 MediaTek processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, a 2K 5.5-inch display, 4,000 milliamp hour battery for less than $300 US. Although I don't believe it's actually going to work in the US. This is actually the device I was able to get hands-on with while I was at Elephone in Shenzhen. Really nice feeling device in the hand, just a pity that it's not going to work in the US. But if you're in a place where it does work, might be something to look at. iFixit did some teardowns on the new Nexus devices. Surprisingly enough, they gave the Nexus 6P a 2 out of a possible 10 because it is not terribly easy to take apart and repair. But they gave the Nexus 5X a 7 out of 10. So apparently between LG and Huawei, LG builds the devices that are easy to disassemble. Huawei builds the more premium device, at least in this case. But actually, speaking of the 5X and LG, there have been some users that have been complaining about their LG Nexus 5X. XDA recognized developer Graphics NYC, Patrick, posted some images of 2 different Nexus 5Xs, one side by side, and apparently one of them was supremely yellow tinted. I do have the Nexus 5X here. I'm actually in London using it, and I do not have any problems with mine. But you might want to check yours out, make sure it's not yellow tinted. Google should be replacing them free of charge as long as you reach out to them for that replacement. Just check to see if yours is yellowed. Speaking of the Nexus 6P, Google has gone ahead and published the Android 6.0 images for the Nexus 6P, so if you want to do something with that, build on top of it, you can now do that. Or maybe if you need something to flash back to. Speaking of Android 6.0, a flashable version of Android 6 for the H815 LG G4 is now available as well. I'd be curious to see if that works with the US version of the H815. LG and the G4, the numbering, the model numbers on those are just ridiculous. I have the H815 US model, so I'll be curious to see if that actually works on that version. XDA senior member the DJ408 put together a guide showing you how you can root and install a custom recovery on the Nexus 5X after you disable encryption on it. So if you're planning on doing that to your Nexus 5X and you still want to be able to root it and get the recovery and everything on it, his guide might be useful. An unofficial build of CyanogenMod 12.1 for the Xiaomi Mi 4C is now available, but it's in a very early alpha stage, so don't expect it to be daily driver ready quite yet. Tasker has been updated, bringing it to version 4.8 beta, and that's supposed to take care of issues related to Marshmallow. So if you're a Tasker user, might be worth checking out for an update. Rovo89 put out an update talking about the progress of the Exposed project with regard to Marshmallow, and apparently things are going pretty well. Not quite there yet, but again, making progress. An official build of Twerp is now available for the Huawei Nexus 6P, so again, if you've got that 6P and you want to be able to do some fun custom stuff to it, head on over to the Twerp site to get your download. Finally, to go ahead and wrap things up, 5 other videos were posted on XDA TV this week. I made the next video in the best Android phones under $100 series talking about performance. TK did 3 different interviews at Big Android Barbecue, and then he did an event recap of the Big Android Barbecue. And be on the lookout, since I am here at DroidCon London, we are going to have at least a couple of videos going up about the event. I did a lot of filming for one today, and I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff while I'm there tomorrow. Hopefully have that up in the next couple of days. But that is going to be about all from me for today. Very late at night here, so I've got to get this done. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up button below this video if you like this video. Subscribe to receive more videos when they become available, and we'll see you again next time.